she ain't no good at it, but she gonna have to be if she wants a job. No doubt. Okay. Yeah. Just but I probably you have to anytime you do a role report, whether it's your notes or whatever, something is kind of
Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3.
We can hear you.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead. When it's not a referendum or it's on an agenda item for the board to take action on. I have questions, but I don't have questions. Yes. That's okay. Yeah, they're good. Okay. First pass off. Okay. You got another pass for another 2 weeks. And then
Testing, testing. The Zoom, testing, testing. Good morning, everyone. We will get started shortly. Just want to make a call for general public comment. If there's anyone in the hearing room today that has a general public comment, please go ahead and complete a comment card in the back of the room and bring it up front. If there are any attendees on the Zoom meeting today that have general public comment, please go ahead and raise your hand so we can get the info for general public comment. Thank you.
saw TJ's chat. He wants to postpone agenda item 8.
She's not here today. Can we get started? Only 9. Only 9.
Yes, we're ready to get started. Go ahead and put it in record mode.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Public Works for July 26, 2024. Ms. Zatorsky, if you could please take roll call.
Of course. Good morning, all. Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Public Works, here to take roll and establish quorum. We have Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Corsand, and Commissioner Reyes all present, and we have a quorum. We have no general speaker cards in person. We'll wait and see if anyone raises their hand via Zoom for general public comment, and we have one, I believe, comment on we got a comment via our Google form, which just noting for the record, so that has been recorded. And we do have one hand raised on the Zoom, so if we want to, that's the only general public comment we have thus far.
Okay, I guess I lost you. Do we have public comment?
We have one public comment on the Zoom.
Okay, we don't have the video up right here.
Oh, we've been having issues with that video camera, so I'll make a chat to our staff to see
Okay.
if they can come help.
All right.
But yeah, we've been having issues
Okay.
this morning with that video.
All right, and then let's please take general public comment.
Okay, call-in user number 1 on the Zoom meeting. You have your hand. Please let us go ahead. If you have general public comment, you'll have 2 minutes. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning. Today, July 26th, is National Disability Independence Day. July 26th commemorates the signing of the Americans with Disability Act. The day not only celebrates the anniversary of the ADA, but it also serves as a way to bring awareness to the barriers individuals with disabilities face every day. While the ADA has made a significant difference in bringing accessibility to those with disabilities, it hasn't removed all prejudice against people with disabilities. Most of the discrimination we see towards people with disabilities in this country tends to be from what we call malign neglect. It's not that we're trying to exclude them from opportunity. It's that we didn't even bother to consider them eligible or worthy of opportunities. Over the years, many items on the agenda of Public Works reflect completed projects. Oh, there's an ADA compliance issue? That additional money has to be spent to correct barriers deliberately created. I hope that Public Works will work with state and federal agencies to be educated on the new and improved modern building codes that will, when a project is initiated, that everyone is included to enjoy the benefit of those projects. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, caller.
All right, do we have any other public comments?
It does not look like we have any other public comments. We do not have any other public comments.
Okay. And do we have any neighborhood council comments?
We have a neighborhood council comment that was submitted via Google form on
Yes.
item 10. So none in person, just
All right,
for
and
the
I'll-
record, item 10.
Thank you, and all the commissioners for the record received that this morning. All right, and then do we have a second to my motion to approve the minutes for July 12th, 2024?
Second.
All right, Ms. Zatorsky, we have a second to my motion by Pro Tem Davis to approve the minutes for July 12th.
Great, we'll take the roll call, starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Corsand,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, that item is adopted.
All right, thank you. All right, well, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. We're going to be taking things just out of order for efficiencies for today's meeting. We will be taking item number 8 first, and then followed by item number 2. So for item number 8, this is an oral report, and that is the, excuse me, not item number 8. I apologize for that. We will be taking up item number 10. And it is indeed an oral report, and that's the status update on major upcoming street improvement projects by the Bureau of Street Services. And I think we have
Presentation.
Gary Brandt. Yes, good morning.
Who did the presentation?
Good morning, Vice President Villegas, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives.
Can you speak
and
into the microphone, or is the microphone
Ms.
on?
Sikorsky. Is it on?
It doesn't sound like it's on.
I think it is on. You just
Sounds
get
like it.
closer.
Okay, very good. My name is Gary Brandt, Superintendent with the Street Renewal Division of Streets LA. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on the upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays. For additional information or concerns, you can contact the coordinating section for the Street Renewal Division at 213-847-3200. There are no major street projects scheduled in the Metro or Valley resurfacing regions during the week of 7/28/24 through 8/3/24. However, we will provide an update on our 24-25 payment preservation program. During the week of July 28th, 2024 through August 3rd, 2024, the Valley and Metro regions will complete 12 projects, resulting in 8.26 lane miles. The press releases were distributed and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council offices to assist with the outreach to stakeholders. We have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on the Streets LA website, streetsla.lacity.org, using the Resurfacing Open Projects icon. This concludes my report.
I appreciate that. Thank you for those updates and for posting this on social media as well and on your website. Commissioners, do we have any other questions on this item? I don't see any. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
weekend.
you very much. Have a
Yeah.
wonderful weekend.
All right. And just getting news, but forgive me, we are in transition. We do not have an executive officer just yet at this board. And so we constantly have changes as we proceed. So we will be taking up item number 2, and then we will have a presentation after that. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Just for the record, I don't think anybody heard you, but we do have microphone issues for any speakers. If you could just speak loudly and into the mic if you can, but it's still not working the best. Okay. All right. So item number 2, and this is for all council districts by the Bureau of Engineering, and this is a request for authority to change consultant names from Gonzalez/Goodale Architects to practice, and recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to instruct city controller's office to update their payment records to reflect the consultant's name change from Gonzalez/Goodale Architects to practice. If we can have Mrs. Quinones provide some presentation on this, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Board Representatives. Marina Quinones, Bureau of Engineering. This motion seeks to change the name on our existing contract C124803 from Gonzalez-Goodale Architects to the name Practice. All required business tax and registration forms have been submitted to reflect the new name. Your approval is required today to process the name change with the Controller's Office to continue processing payments. The reason for the change is the firm is moving forward with a new vision, not represented by the owners of the company, and so the name has been changed. That concludes my report. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Ms. Quinones, and for the name change explanation. Commissioners, do we have any questions on this item?
None from me.
All right, yeah. We
Great.
don't have none. Is there a motion to approve this item? All right. Thank you, Ms. Quinones. We are all done, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Sorry. There's so many things going on right now that I am just like, I think I'm just bouncing back and forth. My apologies. We have a motion by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Pro Tem Davis. Mr. Tursky, if you can please take a roll call.
Great. We'll take the vote, starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsand.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes. Wonderful. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. I will go back to the order of business today, and we will not have a presentation. We are going to have that later.
Okay.
All right. So going back to item number 1, and this is by the Bureau of Engineering, and this is in all council districts, and this is a task order solicitation. Item number 82, Black and Veatch, and this is to authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Black and Veatch from the pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental engineering services consultants list to provide an update for the City of Los Angeles 2025 floodplain management project. As stated in the TOST number 82 with the budget authority of $400,000, including contingency. I think we have Miss Varjanbad?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Roshanak Varjavand, and I'm with the Bureau of Engineering Clean Water Division. A little bit of background on this project. The city, as a participant in the National Flood Insurance Program Community Rating System, or CRS, is required to update the city's floodplain management plan every 5 years to maintain the city's current CRS rating of 7. A CRS rating of 7 allows city residents to receive a 15% insurance premium reduction when buying flood insurance for properties within a designated special flood hazard area, and a 5% discount for all other areas. The latest floodplain management plan update was completed in 2020.
This is crazy.
The subsequent update must be completed by October 2025. Preparation of the city's FMP update requires extensive public involvement to identify creditable activities to reduce flood hazards. Recent policy changes extend opportunities for additional credit points for a substantial damage management plan, where the community can prepare substantial damage estimates and participate in determining the process for evaluating damage to buildings after a major flood event. To pursue these opportunities, it became necessary to solicit the support and expertise of a consultant firm for the city to obtain and achieve the maximum CRS credit points possible. The purpose of this task order solicitation number 82 is to establish goals, objectives, policies, and implementation programs to reduce flooding and flood-related hazards, to ensure that the natural and beneficial functions of our floodplains are protected, and to conduct public outreach activities to solicit public participation in the planning process and raise public awareness of flood hazards in the city, and to update the city's floodplain management plan by October 2025 and implement any changes necessary for the city to satisfy the latest CRS requirements. A little bit of background on the summary of selection and negotiations for this project. This task of solicitation was advertised on the city's Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement, or RAMP, website. 2 consultants, Black and Veatch and Tetra Tech, submitted their responses. A panel of BOE staff evaluated the proposals and selected Black and Veatch. Black and Veatch demonstrated a strong understanding of the project scope and has a qualified and experienced project team, has knowledge of the city's procedures, practices, and expectations, and offers the best value to services to the city based on their responses and review. With regards to their business inclusion participation, they're pledging 21.85% participation for women business enterprises, and also same amount, 21.85% participation for small business enterprises. With regards to the project schedule, the 2025 FMP update shall be completed and adopted by the City Council by August 2025. And also, with regards to the funding for this project, the funding for this project comes from the general fund. That concludes my report, and I can answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Commissioners, do we have any questions on this item?
I
Go ahead, Commissioner Reyes.
Okay, so another contractor performed the report, the previous one. I think that was in 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Okay. How will the contractor's recommendations be implemented? Because we now have a new one. Is there a plan to transition those recommendations, assess those recommendations, update those recommendations before we can have a new report that's coming up, I think in 2025, if I'm understanding?
Correct. The
Okay.
Yeah, from my understanding, the previous recommendations were already adopted. So this is an update that's supposed to happen by 2025 and get accepted by the City Council. So it's supposed to be adopted by the City Council by 2025.
So the previous one was adopted by the City Council,
That's my understanding.
and therefore, this current, the new one, Rocket Beach, will be updating those recommendations as well, or implementing them?
My understanding is both. So their recommendations will be reflected in the 2025 FMP update. So that's the purpose of this project, for the recommendations to update the plan.
And is this gonna go through your bureau in terms of the implementation?
That's correct.
I just wanna make sure that there's a streamlined transition from what those recommendations were and how they're gonna be implemented now that we have a new contractor in the plan.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Commissioners, do we have any other questions? All right, and do we have a motion to approve this item? Thank you. Do we have a second? All right. Ms. Satorsky, we have a motion by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Pro Tem Davis. If you could-
Okay, we'll take the roll call starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. I just hadn't finished saying my comment and you just like went right in.
Oh, sorry.
All right, let's go on then to item number 3. And this is in Council District 14 by the Bureau of Engineering, request for authority to extend the temporary full closure of 7th Street Streetscape Improvement Projects, recommending that the board authorize the extension of a temporary full closure on 7th Street from Hill Street to Olive Street from July 26th to September 7th, 2024 for the construction of 7th Street Improvement Project. And on this project, we have, good morning, Mr. Malchus.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Norm Malchus, Bureau of Engineering, Street Improvement Division. And I also have with me the project manager, Kayla Pagey, also from the Street Improvement Division. So the 7th Street Streetscape project spans 1.1 miles from San Pedro to Figueroa Street, and the scope of work includes protected bike lanes in both directions, new curb ramps, new sidewalk repair, new street trees, new utility connections, new lighting, new pedestrian lighting. as well as other, bus pad and transit islands, signal and signage upgrades. The overall goal of this project is to improve the pedestrian experience, improve connectivity with bicycles, as well as improve the experience of transit riders for both users and operators. The construction of the project is being completed in phases. So I mentioned it's 1.1 miles, and we split it up into 11 different phases, which is composed of 13 blocks on 7th Street. And in order to implement construction, these phases will have temporary full closures of the streets. And the closures of the streets is anticipated to reduce the overall construction schedule and just to be more efficient to allow the construction to move forward. On April 23rd, 2024, the board authorized temporary full closures of 7th Street in 3 of these phases, Phase 5, 6, and 7. Phase 5 is Spring Street to Broadway, Phase 6 is Broadway to Hill Street, and Phase 7 is Hill Street to Olive. And we have completed to date Phases 5 and 6 and are currently working on Phase 7. Now, this third phase, Phase 7, was originally scheduled in the prior board report to commence June 15, 2024, but now it's started July 13, 2024, and we're expecting it to be completed by September 7. So it was supposed to be finished by July 26th. So the reason why there was that delay was during the completion of the prior phases, the contractor encountered some differing and changed site conditions, which required, some of them were some of the basement walls underneath the sidewalk extended into the right-of-way, which caused, redesign of the curb ramps, and also some redesign of some of the utilities, the storm drain connections. And the contractor also had some challenges getting his worksite traffic control plan approved. And all these different change conditions, caused this delay by that time. BOE is requesting to increase this traffic closure from July 26th to September 7th, which is 43 additional days. And the council office has approved this request and concurs with it, as well as the community has been updated regarding this request. That concludes my presentation.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And so is this the last stretch?
No, there's phases 8 through 11, which is the future stretch. Is the next 4 blocks.
Oh, that's right. It's going to go all the way to Fig.
Yes.
Yeah. It's already been 2 years, right? Or like a year and a half at least, this project. Yeah.
Years.
It's been a grueling one. All right. Well, thank you for giving us a thorough explanation. And do you know how the businesses will be notified on this phase for the next couple of weeks where we'll have full closures?
Yeah, I mean, we have contractors submitted advance notices to the community. The council office is also communicating with them. And we also communicate with LA Alliance in virtual meetings to continue to update, and we plan to do that. We
Okay.
always keep them apprised of what's happening.
Okay. And then is there accommodations for parking for those businesses?
Well, I believe on this particular street, there's no, there's just loading, there's no parking. But on other past segments, I believe that there was some accommodations. But most of the stretch that we had so far were bike lanes and just loading zones.
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah, just for the public's edification, since this is being recorded, just wanted to put that on for the record, because it's just in the middle of the heart of downtown.
No, absolutely.
It is difficult, yeah.
I mean, I wanted to extend even beyond September 7th just to give buffer in case there's some change conditions, but we wanted to keep it tight because of the community and because just making sure we don't keep having the street closures.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And then as we're doing this streetscape and we're putting additional trees, are we also keeping the trees that we currently have there?
Yes, we are. We're just adding additional trees.
Okay. Did you want to say something? Okay. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Did you want to elaborate? Just speak into the mic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I can confirm that we're keeping existing trees.
Yeah, we are not getting any microphone. Can you speak up? I'm speaking up and I don't need to. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wonderful. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you both. And commissioners, do we have any other questions on this item?
I wanted to ask, in terms of all of the developing circumstances and the need for us to extend the time to complete this phase, what impact will it have on the overall goal in terms of the time that we might be able to complete the project?
In terms of the time, well, in terms of the overall project?
Yes, correct.
So right now, we're currently in a funding shortfall. We're currently in a funding shortfall that we're, in order for us to complete phases 8 through 11. And we're currently working with the CAO to identify it.
I see.
And then ultimately, the schedule to complete that would be February of 2025, everything. And then there's also something called Segment 3, which is not part of this project. It's in design, which is another 2,300 linear feet past San Pedro to Alameda Street. And I have to look at what that schedule would be.
So in terms of financial planning for this project, we have kind of gotten together and raised the money segment phase by phase. Is that correct?
That is correct. There was an initial amount that was set when the contractor LA Engineering was awarded, but throughout that period, there's been a series of change conditions which has escalated the price. And then we're just chasing this kind of target. I mean, this project, of course, didn't go ideally from the beginning. I mean, you guys know the background, but we're trying to do what we can to identify the funding and keep going and learn from past issues, just to kind of expedite the process and be clean moving forward.
Are there any general themes in terms of resources that we've realized to get us this far in terms of implementing the project? Have we discovered, for example, that there has been an abundant amount of federal opportunities for us, transportation dollars, that have helped us to get this far, and or any other kind of observations you might have financially about our success on the project?
Well, this project wasn't funded by, we had some HSIC project, Affordable Housing Sustainable Community Funds, to fund some of this project. The majority of it was the Measure R funds and the CTIP funds. But this project would have been, as I wasn't here from the beginning, I joined a month ago to this program. But this would be an ideal project for active transportation program. And that's something that usually it's a program that caters to disadvantaged communities and active transportation such as bike lanes and pedestrian improvements. This would have been this would be a great candidate for this. To identify the shortfall, I think of what you're getting at. I think at this point, since we're moving, it would be to identify grants. At this time, it would be we would have to wait to the next cycle to do this. It would have to be city local funds. And for other future projects, though, we always continue to look for grants that would pay for transportation improvements.
Sure.
RAISE, ATP. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. And commissioners, do we have any other questions on this item? All right. Do we have a motion to approve this item? Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Ms. Satorsky, we have a motion by Pro Tem Davis to move this item and a second by Corsan.
Great. We'll go ahead and take the roll call, starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, let's go on then to item number 5, and that's a task order solicitation number 207, IDC Consulting Engineers Incorporated, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue the task to IDC Consulting Engineers Incorporated from the pre-qualified on-call bridge, civil engineering, and other design and support services consultants list to provide preliminary engineering support services for the First Street Bridge over Figueroa Street Rehabilitation Project, as stated in TAS 207, with a budget authority of $325,000, including contingency. And we have Ms. Christine Sotelo. Welcome.
And hi, Christine. Sorry. Before, we have a hand raised on the Zoom, so just wanted
I'm sorry, did not understand anything you said.
We have a hand raised on the Zoom, so wanted to check if there's a public comment before we go into the speakers.
Do we have, apologize, normally we are told which items we have public comment.
Yeah, via the Zoom platform, I mean, you know, same as if anyone were to come in here, so when they raise their hand, I just want to check to make sure we're following
Okay, but
Brown Act.
I appreciate that, but we do ask all the people on Zoom, and if we have anybody on Zoom for items 5 through 12, if you have public comment, raise your hand now so that Ms. Satorsky can identify you.
Great, and we did ask at the beginning, so just to confirm. Caller Audit LA, if you have a comment on item number 4 or any of the other agenda items today, please let us know. You'll have 2 minutes.
I have a question. I guess with the agenda, I saw that the meeting started at 10:30. I wanted a public comment. Is there, a 10:30 meeting? So when I got on, it's already going, and so it's very confusing because I do have a public comment that is very important to me that I would like to give.
The agenda was called for at 10 a.m., which was posted, and we have closed general public comment for the day.
But there's an agenda, it says for 10:30, and there's, you know what I mean, I can show the agenda.
Yeah, that's for our management meeting, which starts after, if it's held, but the regular board meeting is agendized today for 10 a.m., which has started at 4 a.m., and general public comment has been taken.
Okay, it gets confusing because I'm still new to this. So
Understood.
is there going to be a managers meeting, and will there be public comment there?
Yes, I believe you can.
So if I just stay on here, can I stay on here? Like on the Zoom call, and then it'll be called then?
Or the caller can have an opportunity to provide public comment at the next board meeting, to the extent this is not something that relates directly to any of the items and is more regarding the general jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works.
It's very urgent to me, in my opinion. It has to do with the road closing. If there's at the next meeting, if I can give it, because to me, it's very urgent. I don't really want to wait till next week. But I mean, is it the same Zoom link? I just stay on the same Zoom link and I'll be able to talk at the next meeting, like at the management meeting?
Or we can just open general public comment, reopen general public comment right now. And
I'd appreciate it.
Can we open public comment since we're already on number 4 and finish this item up and do it after?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, caller, we're going to finish item 4, and then we will reopen general public comment.
And
Please
we're doing
keep
this
your
as a
hand
favor.
raised.
Please note that for the record, general public comment was already closed, and we understand that
Yes.
you have an urgent item, so we will reopen general public comment after this item is through. All right. Excuse the interruption, Ms. Sotelo. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Christine Sotelo from Bureau of Engineering's Bridge Improvement Division. I'm here to ask that the board issue the Task Force Solicitation 207 to IDC Consulting Engineers for preliminary engineering, project approval, and environmental documentation for First Street Bridge over Figueroa. The proposed project is located on First Street, goes over Figueroa Street, and the existing large metal expansion joints along the bridge are damaged, resulting in noise and vibration issues for nearby residents when vehicles drive over the joints. BOE and Bureau of Street Services have implemented several noise mitigation measures over many years, and although some have provided temporary relief from the noise, these repairs have not been successful in adequately addressing the issue for more than a short period of time. Therefore, the BOE is looking to implement a more permanent solution by either rehabilitating or replacing the existing bridge entirely. So as part of this task order solicitation, 3 firms responded, and all 3 were interviewed. The Bureau of Engineering reviewed the proposals, qualifications, and experience of the consulting firms and determined that IDC demonstrated the most comprehensive understanding of the project, as well as the most relevant experience, and their proposed scope included all necessary requested services. So BOE is recommending the acceptance of IDC's negotiated proposal in the amount of $287,520 with a contingency of $37,480 for a total budget authority of $325,000. The project is state funded and the city may request additional federal funds in the future. For this task, the consultant is pledging DB participation of 76.63%. I'm here for any questions that you may have.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Colleagues, do we have any questions on this item? I don't see any questions. Thank you so much for your report this morning. Do we have a motion to approve this item? And do we have a second? All right, and Ms. Zatursky, we have a motion by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Commissioner Corsan. If you could please take roll.
Okay, Vice President Villegas?
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Corsian?
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes?
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, then we will go back to general public comment. And Ms. Zatursky, if you can please ask if there's any other general public comments at this time.
Great, we'll make one last call in the hearing room if there's any general public comment, and if there is anyone else on the Zoom today, please go ahead and raise your hand so we can take public comment at this time. Caller Audit LA, you will have 2 minutes to talk. It's for your general public comment.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's a little confusing sometimes with the double meeting. I got confused, but I want to talk about some information I just found out. You know, I've been coming and discussing the continuous closures of L. Ron Hubbard Way and how distressing it is for the community. I found out though that one of the vendors, it's not that they're not all Scientology related. There's one vendor wanted to have his event in the park. It was $10,000, but he said that he is being the city. Someone from the city, I guess, from the permitting office, is convincing people to say, hey, you know what? Do it through Scientology on L. Ron Hubbard Way because they're able to get their permits through for $2,000 because, you know, and that's a savings of $8,000. So there is somebody within the permitting section that is steering these, you know, these different, not companies, but whatever you call them, you know, these organizations to go there. And because they could get it, there's like, oh, Scientology can get it through cheap because they, you know, they own the property. So, you know, I guess it's an easy process for them. They get it for $2,000. I don't know how, you know, the park is $10,000 and Scientology or L. Ron Hubbard is $2,000, but they're like, oh wow, I get to save $8,000. So yes, let me do it. And if they're doing it to him, I find it hard to believe that they're not doing it to a lot of people and or organizations. And I think it's just highly unethical for somebody not in you, you know, like, but in permitting or whoever's doing this to be steering that. And because that's, you know, to me, they're acting as an agent for Scientology because
caller. That's 2
Scientology
minutes.
wants the road closure.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your public comment. Do we have any other general public comments?
No.
Okay, so we're closing general public comment and resuming to our agenda, and this is joint reports, item number 5. And this is with Bureau of Sanitation and BCA, Bureau of Contract Administration. And this is a request for proposals, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, outfall inspections, recommending the board to authorize the Director of Bureau of Sanitation or her designee to distribute and advertise the transmitted RFP for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant outfalls inspection, evaluate the proposals, and based on the established rating criteria, select interviews of the most qualified proposers, negotiate a contract or contracts with the most responsive proposer or proposers, and return to the board, Public Works, for the authority to award and execute the contract or contracts, subject to the mayor and the city council's approval prior to the contract execution. And before us, we have Mr. Stephen, is it Opat?
Correct.
Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, commissioners. My name is Stephen Oppert.
If you could just speak into the microphone, please.
Can I just say? Can you hear me? Perfect. Yeah. Reset. My name is Stephen Oppert. I'm the liquid process. I see the liquid process engineering at Hyperion. I'm joined with my colleague Ricardo Flores. We are here to request the board to authorize us to distribute a request for proposal and to negotiate contracts for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant outfall inspection. And we are requesting the board to authorize the Director and General Manager of LA Sanitation and Environment to or her designee to distribute and advertise the transmitted RFP for Hyperion, and also to evaluate the proposal, and based on the established rating criteria, we can select and interview the most qualified proposal. Also to negotiate those contracts with the most responsive proposal, and then we are going to return to the board to award and execute the contract that's subject to the mayor council approval prior to contract execution. So with this board report, we attach a transmittal, which is the RFP, request for proposal. Just briefly, I know most of you understand Hyperion, but we have three outfalls, and each one of them, excuse me. Yeah, Hyperion has three major outfall. We have the 5 mile outfall, we have the 1 mile outfall, and then we have the 7 mile outfall. So the 5 mile outfall is our principal outfall that we use for discharge. Then we have the 1 mile outfall that we use for emergencies. We also have the 7 mile outfall, but it's not in use. It stopped being active in November 1987, but the reason why I'm calling it is because it's still called in the permit, so that's what I'm saying, but it's not being used. The reason why we need this inspection is twofold. Number one, we need it to meet our permit requirement. The permit requires to inspect before we actually exercise them, and number two is it helps us as engineers out there to understand the conditions of the outfall, and that will help us to repair and also clean the outfalls. So we are requesting this. The contract will be a term of 5 years with one-time 5-year renewal, and the cost is $1,891,540. So the notification of intent for this contract was filed by the Office of Administrative Officer, CAO's Office Clearinghouse, in August 23, 2023. And then at the same token, also the CAO made a charter 1022 and determined on August 29 and found that the proposed services can be performed more feasibly and economically by a contractor rather than by the city employees. In terms of BAPs, the outfall inspection are very highly specialized and conducted primarily by one person who is the diver, or they can have a very customized, remotely operated submarine, and that they do not need a subcontracting opportunities because it's a one-man person who either dives in or just send the remote. And so by that token, the BIP outreach requirements were waived by the mayor's office on October 25, 2023, and it's in ramp ID number 210933. So based on this, we also, the project budget, as I mentioned, is $1,891,550. And these we've determined that there's no impact to the general fund. And we, for future appropriation may change, though based on the available cash balances. Therefore, funds and appropriation will be determined by the director and general manager. And that's it.
Are you all done?
I am on time.
Thank you. All right, do we have any questions on this item? Pro Tem Davis, go right ahead.
Thank you so much for your report. In terms of the overall time period, or the estimated time period it will take us to implement the request for proposal and get back to the board with the expectation to begin the work, what do you feel that general time period will be that it'll be that we'd have to consider in this motion? I know that you want to get moving as soon as possible. Do you have any idea as to how long it'll take you?
That's a very good question, President Pro Tempore. So technically within the administrative wing of a Bureau of Sanitation, it normally takes, for contracting purposes, it takes close to 2 years, give or take. So right now I would say that we are really time crunch because we are literally less than 1 year to the time when we need to have the contract set up and running. So the timeline is very short, but we are optimistic we can meet that requirement if the board approves us.
You said within about a year?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, thank you. Commissioners, do we have any other questions? Go right ahead.
Thank you. It's a 5-year contract, and it's surveys of 1 mile, 3 mile, and 5 mile. How often do they do a survey, or does it take 5 years to do a full survey of the outfall?
We have two levels of inspection. The first inspection is monthly. So the permit requires to do monthly exercises of our gates, which include the 1 mile. That means that we need to submit a report to the board, which is now to the regulators, the Water Regional Board, every month before we do that exercise. So there's one monthly inspection, then we have the annual inspection where we do all the inspection. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Just for the public's edification, these 1 mile and 5 mile and 7 mile outfalls are underwater. So the proponents need to have the technical expertise and equipment to be able to inspect them so that these bureau can be able to do the repairs.
Yes.
And Commissioner Reyes?
Yeah, just piggybacking on that, because I know this is a very unique type of expertise, right? What are we doing to reach out to more prospective contractors who can do this work? Are we doing that? Researching more as to who are the possible vendors who can perform the work?
So Hyperion has contracted Ballard, the contractor that we are trying, that we currently have. We have had them for this type of exercise for, I'll say, give or take, for 10 years that I know. I don't know if they were there before. The last RFP, when this went out, we didn't get any other group that actually sent their proposal just because of the technical nature. And it's just, you have to have a very customized remote vehicle to go in there. So we didn't have anyone apart from that contractor. And so just by that token, we realized they have been doing it and they know. And also we wanted to maintain standardization, the reports, and also the video referencing that we get, that we send to the board, we wanted to maintain that too. Yeah. But in terms of reaching out, we have reached out. We are still going to send this proposal and see who's going to bring their proposal next.
I think we have to expand our reach to ensure that, number one, that we get a bidder or a proposal in, and then at the same time, kind of research what's available out there as well in terms of the type of expertise.
Noted, we'll do that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And Commissioners, do we have any other questions on this item? All right, well, much needed work. And Commissioners, do we have a motion to approve this item? All right, Ms. Satorsky, we have a motion by Pro Tem Davis and a second by Commissioner Reyes. If you can please take roll call.
Okay, we'll take roll call starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Well, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. All right, then let's move on then to item number 6. And do we have any other public comments on this item? No. All right, item number 6 is an administrative item, and this is the mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Sanitation to execute the memorandum of agreement with the Los Angeles Gateway Region Integrated Regional Water Management Joint Power Authority for cost sharing and monitoring equipment and harbor toxic pollutants, total maximum daily load monitoring. And do we have a motion to approve this item? Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Pro Tem Davis.
Take the roll call starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Aye. Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Okay, thank you. And the next item is also administrative, and this is item number 7. The mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Engineering to execute the agreement for the traffic calming for the Western Gauge Median project between the City of Los Angeles and Los Angeles Neighborhood Initiative. Do we have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Corsan and a second by Pro Tem Davis. If we could please take roll call.
Okay, we'll take the roll call starting with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Aye. Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
All right, thank you so much. Then let's move on to item number 8, and this is a oral report, and this is the status of labor project agreements by the Bureau of Contract and Administration. And before us, we have Ian Monteith. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Okay, I guess they're okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Just
Good.
use your deep voice.
Deep voice it is. Good morning again. Ian Monte, representing the Bureau of Contract Administration's Office of Contract Compliance, and I am here to provide a status report / update for the Department of Public Works Project Labor Agreement. So the first iteration of the PLA, as we affectionately know it, was in 2011. We are currently on our third version of that particular agreement, which is a 10-year agreement that goes from years 2020 to 2030. As of this morning, there have been 153 projects that this board has awarded that has been covered under that agreement, which have totaled in the award amount of $2.68 billion. Any project that is covered under this PLA has 3 targeted hiring metrics. At least 30% of all of the construction work hours performed must be done by someone that is a city resident. At least 50% or half of the apprentice hours performed on these projects needs to be done by a city resident that is in a bona fide apprenticeship program. And finally, at least 10% of all of the construction hours performed on these projects have to be performed by someone that is a city resident that has been certified as what we call a transitional worker. And those are individuals that have different barriers to employment in their background. So collectively, these 153 projects have employed 24,279 workers who have collectively performed 6,329,991 project hours. This includes 7,203 local workers that have performed 38% of that 6.3 million hours. Also, 1,483 transitional workers have performed 18% of that 6.3 total project hours. In addition to that, we have had 1,425,851 total apprentice hours, where we have had 2,772 local apprentices that have performed 63% of those hours, which is all these big numbers, 894,792. Now, all of these numbers are important because, again, it just breaks down exactly what those within the community have performed. Collectively, all of these hours that have been performed have resulted in $89,198,787.73 of local wages being reinvested back into the city communities. That is an awesome number. The second part of this report is going to look at what's happened in the last 12 months. So we can take the last fiscal year 23 /24. In those last 12 months, there have been 51 projects awarded underneath the PLA, and they have totaled in $1.42 billion of total award amount. Within that, 3,490 workers have been employed, including 650 apprentices, and they have collectively performed 482,282 construction work hours. There have been 1,135 local resident workers that have performed 43% of that 482,000 hours number, as well as 197 transitional workers that have performed 19% of that total. In addition, there have been 325 local resident apprentices that have performed over 71,000 hours, which represents 71% of the total number of apprentice hours on these projects. And all of these projects have represented $9.31 million reinvested back into the community as local wages. I have lots more stats, but in the interest of time and the fact that there are multiple oral reports that are going to happen after this one, I will conclude my presentation here and make myself available for questions.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Pro Tem Davis.
Yes, so thank you so very much for this report. And as always, it is a dynamic report that is inclusive of various categories of workers. And I see also transitional workers are a part of those that you accommodate in this. We do have three different types of workers in the category that we have transitional workers in. I guess we have Bill to, what is it called? Bridge to, what are those programs? One is Bridge to Jobs.
Bridge
is
to
that correct?
Jobs, yes.
And then the other one is
The Target Local Hire Program, I believe, for the city.
the Black Workers Program or something.
Say it again.
What is it called?
The Targeted Local Hire Program?
The Targeted Local
Yes.
Hire Program, yes. And so are those programs also inclusive of the work that we've had this quarter?
Those programs are inclusive of the work that we have done with the city. They are not inclusive of the particular project labor agreement hours that you see here because the PLA exempts city workers of any kind. So
I see.
Inspectors or those that are part of the city's Bridge to Jobs program, their hours would never be included,
I see.
whether or not they perform some sort of work on a PLA project.
Sure, point well taken. And I do agree that it is critically important for us to develop and maintain a strong, cohesive relationship with the labor community. And I think that your report reflects that. Have you discovered in this quarterly report any new observations that have been positive that we have been able to achieve in this quarterly report?
You know what? I've seen a lot of observations. One of the things that I've seen, and it's something that you pay attention to, but you don't think about. And then when you really dive into it, it goes, wow. In the last 12 months, this board has awarded a lot of work, and that work has, from an award standpoint, been a lot of money. And when you see that, it's like, okay, this is awesome that the city is providing all of these opportunities for contractors and workers. But when you really see who it's impacting and who it's designed to impact, it really makes you go, it makes your heart sing, go, yeah. For me, I'm like passionate about this. So it's not just me reporting statistics and numbers. That stuff is nice, but I like to see actual impacts. And if it's going to be numbers, let me see numbers that go up versus go down. So and I'm just going to give you a small snippet because, again, I could be here for an hour and I don't want to do that.
Sure.
When you're talking about these projects that we have awarded in the last 12 months versus the previous 12 months, we've seen a 15% increase on the number of workers that have done work.
Great.
We've seen a 21% increase on the number of apprentices that have done work.
Good.
When you're talking about local workers, 23% more have done work on these projects this past 12 months versus the previous 12 months. So you see things in that regard, and it just says, now are there things that we can do even better so that in the next 12 months the numbers are reflective of additional achievements and whatnot? Absolutely. But I'm just very appreciative of all of our partners, and I have two of my analysts here, and we can't do this work without them. I mean, ultimately, this is about the contractor and what they are supposed to do as it pertains to the terms and conditions of their contract. But we have a great staff within the labor section of the Office of Contract Compliance, and I have Rosa and Deborah that are here. And because they're here, I'm going to call them out by name. But these projects don't reach compliance and maintain compliance without strong analysts that are constantly looking to educate and assist these contractors and ultimately help them find opportunities that result in these massive increases that I've talked about. So I certainly want to tip my cap to them. you know, today they make me look good because these numbers are reflective of the work that they do, not me talking about them. So those are just kind of my observations that I've made.
Well, I think that when we look at who we are as a city, like many of our brother and sister metropolitan areas, we are a union city. And so the work that we do on our project labor agreements reflect our partnership with the labor community. And I think we have been and we continue to do and are doing a good job in that regard. And so as we move forward, we want to continue the level of productivity that you have presented to us in this quarterly report. In the future, we want to continue to do the same, because I think that the thing that labor brings for citizens is it brings a level of dignity, a level of stability in terms of expectations financially that you can count on to make a decent living for working families. And so that this tool called the Project Labor Agreement reflects the city's commitment to make sure that we are inclusive of our labor community. And I will conclude by saying that the work and the productivity that we have been able to realize here in some of our other areas, we would like to use this work as a model of course, you know, I'm going to say, of what we can achieve in areas such as in small business inclusion, as well in various communities. If we were able to produce at the same level here, this is a role model. This is what I call a project demonstrating excellence. If we could take that same level of energy and duplicate it in these other areas that address the constituent base that a dynamic city like a Los Angeles, the second largest city in the country, has, then I think we will continue to be number one in the things that we do. Thank you for this report.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Pro Tem Davis. And commissioners, are there any other questions? Go right ahead.
Just an ask, thank you. Can you email this to all of us as well, or maybe you could email it to TJ or Ms. Zatorsky and they can send it to us?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to mention that your report or presentations should be on our agendas for public's edification as well.
Okay,
If you
we'll make
can
sure we
send
do
it,
that in
yeah,
the
to TJ, that would be helpful. All right, yeah, normally when we get handouts, we can just look on our computer and see where you're at, but I did notice that it wasn't on the agenda, so that's just for future reference, yeah.
Will do.
But the information that you shared with us is very good news, yeah. Yeah, when, you know, it's interesting, when we pass a lot of items on our board, it's mainly contracts, and as you've come to our board, I think just last week on a PLA, everything is always in black and white, but it's very good for, as you know, to go out into, you know, the community and be able to see firsthand just the work and the projects that are going on. I've personally had a chance to even see our bulkheads after the rains, you know, out in Mulholland, and just see some of the projects that are, you know, taking place, even our sinkholes at times, and those are all projects and that contribute to some of the work that you've been reporting on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions or comments? All right, I don't see any. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All righty.
Have a good
Take care.
weekend. All right, then we will move on to item number 11. And item number 11, we have,
Vice President Villegas. Vice President Villegas.
excuse me. For item number 11, we do have, we're going to do a twofold. It's a financial intern oral report, but we will also have a presentation for Mr. Sterling Gabriel. He's an HBCU intern over at the Board of Public Works. So I will turn this over to Pro Tem Davis.
Apologies. Before we get to item number 11, can we comment in the record that we've continued item number 9?
Thank you.
So item number 9 will be continued to a date to be determined unless we want to decide today. but we can do to be determined date.
Yeah, why don't we do
Okay, and then we took item 10 at the beginning, just for everyone's knowledge, the Streets LA oral report.
Go ahead. Pro Tem.
Thank you. Once again, we want to have a presentation by our intern, as you know, in the city of Los Angeles, and I guess in many cities throughout the United States. We use summers as the opportunity for us to not only hire young people in our summer youth programs, but we use it as an opportunity for internship programs for our college students. And again, in Los Angeles, we have students from everywhere around the world, quite frankly. And in the city of Los Angeles, we have a very vibrant summer internship program that creates an opportunity for college students to be able to match the academic experience they have had with work experience. And so that the city is a laboratory that complements students in their education and their training. This year, we have at least the following departments that have internship programs. The President Villegas mentioned our HBCU students, many of whom come from Los Angeles, whose parents have attended HBCUs. I see that one of our HBCU presenters from the Bureau of Contract Administration, Ian, just presented from Tuskegee University. And so when we talked about inclusiveness many years ago, we looked at not only the data in terms of those who have been underrepresented, and we've looked at that we've not been as inclusive as we would like to be. We expanded to establish a recruiting committee for engineers and financial professionals that will allow us to expand the opportunities for those who would look at Los Angeles because, of course, like many other cities, we receive federal dollars that are available for students throughout, that we would continue to be that vehicle by which students could return home, even though they may have gone to school in other places throughout the country. Long story short, the Harbor Commission, the Department of Water and Power, the Bureau of Engineering, the Board of Public Works are among those departments this year, despite the deficit, that have become vehicles by which students in this country can have had training. So today it is my pleasure to present to you one of the students from the Board of Public Works who wants to briefly talk about his experience this summer in the Board of Public Works as a financial intern. Sterling Gabriel II is a student at the renowned Morehouse College of Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Sterling Gabriel II.
Good morning, all. It's a pleasure to be back once again, and this is an amazing environment and, again, a great opportunity. So I'm very appreciative for this time and, again, this summer internship. So my assignment this summer was to examine the impact of the budget shortfall on public services, as when when a projected revenue target is missed, that means that there are certain areas that will face some challenges, some difficulties. So my assignment was to look into that and talk to different departments, see how they have been personally affected, and see what I can also do on my end to help as well.
Sterling, I just want to let you know that we don't have the presentation on our screen in front of us. So as you're going through your slides, just be mindful that we can't see it. So I know you prepared a presentation with that assumption. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to help you out on that.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll check on it right now to see if we could get it up for y'all.
Is our screen working?
Yeah, it's on both of these right now.
Okay.
Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for sure. So the purpose of this presentation will be to provide an overview of my summer internship, highlighting some of my key findings, my experience, some of the challenges that I've noticed throughout the department, and also some recommendations. So in terms of executive summary, I will be going over some of my key findings, which will be going over the deletion of certain positions within certain departments and also reductions in contractual services due to the budget cuts as well. So in terms of position deletions, I've noticed that there were some in accounting, the Public Works Trust Fund, and also grants. So first, I interviewed people from accounting, right? And what they do is manage financial records, and so they also account for every single dollar going in and out of Public Works. And so the impact that they have had when it comes to the shortfall is that they have had funding cuts. So there's been reduced budget for accounting and their operations, the resources, and there have also been increased workloads because they are not able to fill the current positions that they have available. And there have also been some positions deleted due to this budget shortfall. So they are very short-staffed, and processes are taking a long time due to that. And so they are trying their best and also communicating with other departments in order to continue to get things done in a timely manner. Next, I spoke with the Public Works Trust Fund. And Public Works Trust Fund, I was mainly speaking with Jonath Death, I'm sure you guys know Jonath. So their primary focus is managing and allocating the money of the public works projects. And how they have been impacted is there has been decreased allocations in their key projects. And in terms of operational constraints, they have had limited ability to fund new initiatives and also maintaining their current projects that they have now. So where they have also been affected is reduced staff. So they are also dealing with longer timelines in terms of finishing certain projects. And also they are having to talk to previous people that were in the department, previous colleagues, in order to be able to see how they formerly did processes, since some other positions are currently not there at the moment as well. And so what they have been doing in order to deal with these constraints that they are having, they have been prioritizing certain projects in order to ensure that the primary goals are getting met, along with they are collaborating with other departments as mentioned as well. And so after that, I spoke with grants work, and in terms of grants work, sorry, were you guys able to get it on the screen? No? Okay.
Yeah. Just go ahead and paraphrase your remarks as
Gotcha.
Commissioner Vahey said, and we'll be listening.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So next, I spoke with grants work, and in terms of that, what I learned is that they secure and manage grants from public works projects, and how they have been impacted is that they have had limited ability to pursue any new grant opportunities, and they have also experienced potential delays when it comes to getting projects funded or receiving new resources as well. So in terms of their strategies that they have had to use to implement to get over this hump is to streamline grant management processes and by also prioritizing high impact grants. And as well as other departments, they have also experienced much needed collaboration in order to continue to get things done. So what I've noticed is a common theme is that departments are collaborating and working with one another in order to get things done.
Great.
And the second half of my assignment was looking into the reduction in contractual services as well. So the first department that I spoke to was Clean LA with your very own Devin. And so what I've learned is that they aim to enhance cleanliness and environmental quality in Los Angeles, but at the same time, they also help underprivileged communities get into the city as well. So whether that is, their program where they are helping these underprivileged members of society get into the city, work for a bit, and then they are able to get civil servants. Yeah, yes. And so how they have also been impacted is their funding was cut from 6 million to 2.5 million, affecting operations and expansion. Haven't necessarily experienced going backwards, but they have not been able to expand like as they would like to. And so they have experienced reduced hiring capacity and resource allocation. And there's also been a shift from expansion to maintaining current operations and planning around these restrictions. And so in terms of strategies, I've learned that there's stricter oversight in working hours, resource utilization, and that at the same time they are partnering with community-based organizations in order to support ongoing initiatives. And so next, I met with Graffiti Abatement. This was with Paul Rux, and what I've learned is that they focus on maintaining clean and public safe spaces, and how they have been impacted is they have had decreased frequency in the scope of graffiti removal services. So this means that graffiti that we see around the city is going to stay there longer because they're not able to continue to get more contracts in order to get these areas cleaned up. So what they're having to do right now is prioritize certain areas. So areas that get the most traction, or maybe have more money flowing through there. They have to ensure that those priorities are met first in order to ensure that the community is happy. But then at the same time, there are other areas where they are not able to get to. So there's operational delays leading to slower responses and graffiti staying there over time. And so next I met with the Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And so what they do is they manage contracts that are vital to the environment and to safety projects as well. So how they have been impacted by the budget shortfall is that they have had significant cuts to funding, of course, which means limited contract renewals and also project scopes. So they've experienced delays, which means project timeline delays, and also essential maintenance and updates have been deferred, which is very much a problem to our environmental safety. And so following that, I've learned that they have been focusing on high impact projects in order to maximize their limited resources, and that they are trying to streamline operations, reduce overhead costs, and seek alternative funding sources in order to ensure that these vital things these vital tasks are being completed in order to protect our safety. So lastly, I was able to speak with Workforce Equity Demonstration Project, also known as WED. And what I've learned is that they accelerate public sector job pathways for underprivileged communities as well. So they had a goal of bringing in 200 members of our community, and have only been able to bring on about 44 members of our community. One, because they were just having problems trying to get positions that would that the city would allow to be filled in that manner, and there's also programs that are trying to do the same thing, so it's a little difficult trying to get certain positions allocated to them. But at the same time, with this current freeze that we are having, it's kind of made it nearly impossible for them to continue to keep this program running at the moment. But as of now, they have been able to secure 22 city positions, which is great. But again, there are limited position approvals, which is holding them back at the moment. And that can't really be changed until the shortfall is figured out. So a part of how they have been impacted is, of course, the budget cuts, limits to operations, but then also in lieu of hiring, there's a strict approval process. And so for their future plans, they plan to secure more positions and to enhance transparency and engage stakeholders as well. So they also are planning to pursue grants and donations to sustain the program, as finding funding at the moment is difficult. So going into recommendations, so I would say from my experience from speaking with each and every one of these individuals for about an hour, and then also doing further research when looking into the proposed budget, I've seen that I think it's important to increase budget allocations in the future, expand services, also to explore more grants and partnerships for alternative funding. I think that in terms of efficiency, it's important to use advanced technologies and processes in order to improve and boost revenue, boost resource use, and to also perform regular audits in order to continue to find additional cost saving opportunities. Next, I would say it's important to continue to increase and strengthen stakeholder collaboration, as this allows you to build partnerships with community or organizations, and also I think it's important to enhance your transparency and to also ensure that your communication is stellar in order to align your efforts. And next, I would say focus on workforce development. So ensuring that your staff that you already have on board are able to continue to take different tasks on, and that they are able to be essentially malleable. So they are able to do multiple tasks, especially in times like this. We have learned that it's important that they are able to do multiple jobs, even if that's not originally what they signed up to do. Because at a certain point, we are all team players, and there are going to be times where you have to put that I in team. And so lastly, I would say long-term strategic planning is also very important. So creating a strategic plan in order to address any future challenges that could arise. And as I'm sure is already done, I just think that it's important to always be proactive rather than reactive. And so to conclude my presentation, I would say that the fiscal challenges that have been presented and these significant obstacles to the operations, I think that it's important that we learn from this experience and that we continue to see how that it not only affects our departments, but our communities, the services that are also getting delivered to our communities as well. I think that through adaptive strategies and collaboration efforts, we have managed to mitigate some of these adverse effects, and that is beautiful to see as we are continuing to improve, although we are facing some challenges. And I think that it's important that we emphasize persistent focus on innovation, efficiency, and also stakeholder engagements, as this remains essential to maintain and enhance service delivery at all times. And once again, thank you guys for your attention. Thank you for your time. And I mean, this has been an amazing, amazing experience. Once again, just continuing to get to know everyone and get to know the city of Los Angeles and how things work. And it's been great to see from the inside what it really means to run a city.
Great. I'll give my comments on behalf of the board last. I'm going to come down, but why don't we start with Commissioner Kersan for any remarks he might have about our internship program or questions he might have of your presentation, and then we'll go to President, well, first of all, Commissioner Kersan, and then we'll go counterclockwise.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I'm not going to bombard you with questions. I'm going to commend you for the presentation and your work, and also as your future fellow colleagues who are sitting behind you will attest, your ability to pivot when I told you we don't have the presentation in front of us, keeping your cool, that counts a lot more in a lot of situations than the presentation itself. You were able to just keep going even with that challenge. So whatever steps of education you've taken to become an excellent presenter, it's going to pay forward a lot as you mature in your career. So I want to commend you first and foremost for that. Second, when you were going through this, I only have one question. How quickly did you see the conclusions when you were uncovering the challenges?
So you're asking how quickly did I see just essentially this information that I've...
the recommendations. How quickly did you identify those even if it was in your head, how quickly did you identify them as you were hearing the challenges?
I would say honestly, relatively quickly, as people were telling me, just because, I mean, people present you with certain situations that they are facing. And naturally, as a I guess empathetic human, you feel what they are saying, and you want to naturally just be able to help any way that you can. So I would say definitely, almost instantaneously. Sure. Thank you.
And thank you for your report this morning. I appreciate it. I just have a couple of questions. Your presentation, does that include also a white paper?
Sorry. Sorry. One more time.
You presented to us today with your findings and your recommendations, and
Yes.
my question is, does it come accompanied with a white paper?
Oh no, I'm sorry. It does not.
Okay. All right, appreciate it. Well, thanks for the presentation. It was very confirming, obviously, for those of us in leadership that go through this, process with the budget. We knew that these anticipated costs were going to come at a cost. And you've just confirmed that, just with the Clean LA program and the graffiti abatement program, and then our Office of Petroleum Natural Gas. Thank you for highlighting those. Just in talking with other council districts and when they ask for reports, things like that, we are short-staffed on the Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and that is a holdup that we have, and also just a frustration, that we have, since we do also have just dire economic needs right now at the city. So we do recognize those, and your report obviously pins them, and just in talking to other council districts that require just additional, feedback on particular lines that go through all of Los Angeles, since it's was at one point an oil-rich city, but we know that we can't do turnaround on those reports just as fast as we could at some other point. And we indeed saw just we're feeling that also, the reduction just in contracts on graffiti abatement as well. Just in talking with our staff, we knew those conclusions obviously, as the budget process unfolded. But this is something that obviously that when you do a thorough review and analysis, as you have done here, it's important just to highlight that. And then that's why I asked if you had a white paper or who else you would be sharing this information with.
Yeah.
Do you know, will this, I guess, I understand that. Yeah, I didn't know if we were going to be taking this report and sharing it with others, or how this information. I see. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense. Thank you so much, President Pro Tem Davis. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate just your report and its thoroughness, and I hope that you got a lot out of this experience as well.
I definitely did. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just said yeah, I definitely did get a lot out of this experience. It's been an amazing one, to be honest. It's been very stellar. Every single day that I've come in, I've been able to meet new people, make great connections, and also at the same time be able to continue to learn about the city and what it takes to run one.
Yeah. Well, you picked a good one to do your report on. It's pretty complicated over here.
Yeah.
But, I do see that your recommendations also talk about collaboration, in terms of, just really helping one another out, even if we do have some delays, just on some of these contracts that we're just trying to pursue just more quickly. But I do agree with your recommendations in that effort. And I think that you did just a great job on this report. And I hope that you got a lot out of it as well, so that you can take that on to your next endeavor and finish up your studies at Morehouse. Congratulations.
Sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. This is a very comprehensive report. I like the fact that you have included the adaptation strategies because that's really what is going to be important during these consequential times. I would say with the budget shortfall and reductions that the city overall is experiencing. What my question is on the overall culture. What have you observed as part of our culture here in the city? What have you gleaned from it? And if you could just tell us that, your observation as part of your experience here, and what improvements can we make?
Okay, so culture within the city of Los Angeles.
Yes.
Got you. Okay, so what I've learned in terms of culture here is that while everyone may have their own path and their own way, their own agenda that they are working on, everyone's still working together. It's still family based. So regardless of being separate, everyone is still working together, ensuring that their assignments are getting done, ensuring that for the people, the people of the city, that everything is getting done at a high quality of service, which is very important. So I just really appreciate the family aspect, and I think that's important in any culture, honestly. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I just wanted that comment from you to try to see really based on the time you've spent here, what those insights that you've gleaned and what your perception is about the city of LA. So thank you and good luck on your next endeavor.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And concluding his presentation today, first I want to thank each of the commissioners who asked all of the right research questions, from Commissioner Carson to Commissioner Reyes and to Commissioner Villegas. All of you asked the very relevant questions for students. As you know, across the country, we try to introduce students to problem-solving experiences. And so the problem financially for those students who are students of finance is, what do you do when there is a budget shortfall? What do you do when there is a deficit? And so any student and any government person is going to run into the deficit as a phenomena. So that really is the question here. And I agree that the various recommendations that he has made have been well thought out. And of course, as in all research, it's an ever engaging project for which we will continue to discover the answers to the research question. On behalf of the Board of Public Works, Sterling, I'd like to give you this certificate of appreciation, and it's from all of those of us who represent what we believe is the baddest public works board in the United States of America. And you have had the privilege to work in this very dynamic city called Los Angeles, and that we have the largest tree urban canopy, and we have a lot of everything that is among the largest in this country. So you have been very privileged to see how public works works in the nation's most dynamic city. We appreciate your work, and we hope that the experience you got in the workplace, complemented with what you've learned in the classroom, will be able to be available for organizations like Los Angeles in the future when you graduate. So thank you so very much on behalf of LA. President Villegas, I don't know if we can take a picture.
Yes, yes. If we can just take a 5-minute break, we'll take a quick picture and then resume with our meeting for those on Zoom. Thank you.
I want to also thank TJ, who helped to, as with all of our interns, helped to design the curriculum in terms of just where we should go to ask questions of what programs in the Department of Public Works. And so this, I think, is as important for him as the person who is our interim executive officer to give some more thinking to areas in which we need to further examine problems given the financial challenge that we have before us today. So when students come to us, not only do they learn, we are learning along with them as we engage with them. So thank you, TJ, for all the work that you have done. Thank you. Thank you, President.
All right.
Okay, Ms. Satorsky, if you can just get roll call for us, please.
Oh, great. We will take roll call again, returning from our short break. We are joined by Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Reyes, and we have a quorum.
All right, and we're also joined by our city attorney. All right, then why don't we get started on our last item, item number 12, the status of all contracts and policy number 793 update. And we will start with BOE first, followed by Bureau of Street Services. And do we have any other representatives here?
Yes, we have representatives for all 5 bureaus.
All right, I just don't have other reports.
Right here in this.
Do we have the reports, or are they on
They might
here?
have been online.
Okay. Okay. All right. Do we have Bureau of Lighting here? Okay. Do we have LA Sanitation here? Okay. Okay. We're going to do BOE, then we're going to do Streets LA, then we're going to do Bureau of Contract Administration, then Lighting, and then LA Sanitation. Thank you. All right, and Mr. Guerrero, if you want to get us started with Bureau of Engineering, thank you.
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to present the quarterly report for the Bureau of Engineering issued construction orders up to $150,000 from April 1st, 2024 to June 30th of 2024. And I believe you've been provided the hard copies for this portion of the report.
What was that?
I hope you were provided the hard copies for this
Yes,
portion.
we
It was
were.
not included. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So I'll begin with the municipal facilities and related projects. There is nothing to report for this period. For the emergency geotechnical and structural, there is nothing to report. For street improvement, there is nothing to report. For the emergency storm drain repairs, we issued 10 construction orders for the total amount of $399,284. For emergency demolition services, there is nothing to report. For emergency construction and repair services at water treatment plants, there is nothing to report for this period.
Okay.
And for emergency sewer repairs, there is a total of 95 construction orders that were issued for a total amount of $3,382,100. And this concludes my oral report, and I'll take any questions you may have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was pretty quick. Thank you. All right, Commissioners, do we have any other questions on Bureau of Engineering on this report this morning? No. Commissioner Reyes, do you have any questions? No. I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then next, we're going to go with Bureau of Street Services, and good morning, we have Brian on here.
Apologies, there are actually three portions of the report for the Bureau of Engineering.
Oh, three portions, okay. I do see that we have, yeah, you're here, Richard Louie, and then we have Jonathan Carroll as well. Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, good morning. My name is Richard Louie with the Bureau of Engineering, and I'm here to report on change orders that are issued under $150,000 for the past quarter of April 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2024. I would like to request a verbal correction to the report. You'll notice there's a big PDF with all the reports, and on page 46 of 263, which is page 1 of 2 of the attachment of this report on change orders under $150,000, there were two change orders that were incorrectly listed on the report. Again, on page 46 of 263, and under the project called 2516 HWRP Headworks Overflow Bypass Improvements, the change order for the equipment order adjustment and sonar imaging was mistakenly listed on the report and should be removed. So with that, with the correction, for the period of April through June of 2024, there were 44 change orders that were issued on 18 projects with an aggregate value of $1,413,555.63. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. All right, so you provided the report for construction orders. No, you provided for change orders, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, do we have any questions? No, none. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. And then we still have Bureau of Engineering, and we have Jonathan Carroll.
Yes. Thank you very much. Jonathan Carroll, Bureau of Engineering, Project Award and Control Division. This is the Personal Services Contract System Quarterly Status Report for April 1, 2024 through June 30, 2024. For the contract groups, we have E2020 Document Control 2018, one contract. Wastewater and Environmental Engineering Services 2017, 24 contracts. Appraisal Consulting Services, 11 contracts. Environmental Documentation Consultant Services 2021, 11 contracts. Environmental Specialty Studies Consultant Services 2021, 10 contracts. Full Services Right-of-Way Consulting Services, 7 contracts. Geotechnical and Environmental Engineering Services 2022, 11 contracts. Civil Engineering Services 2019, 26 contracts. Los Angeles Neighborhood Initiative 2024, 1 contract. Architectural and Related Professional Services 2014, 20 contracts. Bridge, Civil Engineering and Other Design and Support Services 2019, 30 contracts. LA Convention Center, Architectural and Engineering Consultant Services, 1 contract. There were 12 tasks awarded, 20 continuing and expire next quarter, 39 current negative deviations, all for a total of $15,061,922. Invoiced activities per outreach program. The MBE WBE outreach program had 0. Business inclusion program had 123 contracts. Total amount of invoiced this period is $10,043,273. MBE had $1,934,607. WBE had $983,581. SBE had $2,305,183. EBE had $1,207,798. DVBE had $153,272. OBE had $999,588 for total invoices $4,717,287. Disadvantaged Business Outreach Program had 30 contracts. Total invoice was $5,018,650. DBE was $577,417. OBE was $748,614 for a total of $1,326,031. Tasks awarded under $150,000. MBE WBE Outreach Program. No tasks were awarded under this program. Business Inclusion Program. There were 5. CDM Smith Incorporated, contract number C139067, task ED21-045, awarded $10,000. Fugro USA Land Incorporated, contract number C141860, task 16-191A, awarded $30,000. Lehrer Architects, contract number C124698, task 103, awarded $111,666. WSP USA Incorporated, contract number C141865, task 14-134A, awarded $95,000. WSP USA Incorporated, contract number C141865, task 22-066A, awarded $50,000. Disadvantaged Business Outreach Program, no tasks awarded this program. Tasks awarded over $150,000. MBE WBE Outreach Program had no tasks awarded this period. Business Inclusion Program had 8. IBI Group Architecture Planning, contract number C124701, task 75, awarded $407,996. SOMAS, contract number C134269, task 32, awarded $1 million. Rios Clementi Hale Studio, contract number C124705, task 91, awarded $900,000. Rios Clementi Hale Studio, contract number C124705, task 94, awarded $500,000. Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated, contract number C129663, task 76, awarded $1,200,000. SWCA Environmental Consultants, contract number C139083, task ED21-031, awarded $451,500. Disadvantaged Business Outreach, IDC Consulting Engineers Incorporated, contract number C134691, task 207, awarded $287,520. Task order solicitation update. Los Angeles Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement, known as RAMP, continues to perform well, and there were no issues nor complaints during this reporting period. New contracts executed, none this period. Contracts expired, none this period. Contracts expiring next quarter. Architectural and Related Professional Services 2014. These pre-qualified on-call consultants provide architectural as-needed services for various public works projects. A board report is being prepared to request term extension for all contracts in this group. The expiration for these contracts are all September 23rd of this year. There are 20 contracts. AC Martin Partners Incorporated, contract number C124786. Brooks and Scarpa Architects Incorporated, contract number C124703. Eric Owen Moss Architects, contract number C125148. Gonzalez Goodale Architects, contract number C124803. Gruen Associates, contract number C124702. Gwynn Pugh Urban Studio Incorporated, contract number C124700. HMC Architects, contract number C124787. IBI Group Architecture Planning, contract number C124701. John Friedman, Alice Kim Architects, contract number C124801. Lehrer Architects, contract number C124698. M. Arthur Gensler Jr. and Associates Incorporated, contract number C124805. Paul Murdoch Paul Murdoch Architects, contract number C124804. Perkins and Will, contract number C124699. Pfeiffer Partners Architects Incorporated, contract number C124799. Rios Clemente Hale Studio, contract number C124705. Rotu Architects Incorporated, contract number C124800. SLAM Collaborative Incorporated, contract number C125922. Sperano and Mooney Architecture Incorporated, contract number C124704. Studio Poly Feckett Architects, contract number C124802. Exton Architecture, contract number C125923. For the Business Inclusion Program, there were 123 contracts, 167 tasks. MBE received 20%. MBE achieved 20%. WBE achieved 14%. SBE achieved 31%. EBE achieved 20%. DVBE achieved 2%. OBE achieved 17%. Disadvantaged Business Outreach Program, 30 contracts and 31 tasks. DBE achieved 33%. OBE achieved 32%. And that concludes my report.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any questions, commissioners? I don't see any. Thank you. Okay. Then we went through Bureau of Engineering. Let's go with Bureau of Street Services. Martha Iniguez and Brian On.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Brian On.
Are you presenting, Martha?
She's going to follow. I'm with the Bureau. My name is Brian On. I'm with the Bureau of Street Services. I'm here to report on the Policy 793 report for 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 the second quarter 2024 change order issues for the Streets LA construction project, we currently have a San Fernando Bikeway Phase 3 project. For the San Fernando Road Bike Path Phase 3 project in the second quarter, Streets LA issued 12 change orders in the amount of $451,260.30. For the project, Streets LA issued total of 116 change orders in the amount of $4,366,006.91. This concludes my updates for the second quarter.
Appreciate your report. Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions? Thanks for bringing us the handout. All right. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Martha Inez, reporting on the status of all contracts for the Bureau of Street Services. During this reporting period, the Bureau had a total of 26 active contracts, of which one is new. 2 contracts are currently due to expire within 90 days, and we also have 1 contract that's pending. To begin with on the report, I'd like to start with items number 1 and 2 for the production of asphalt, items number 3 through 7 for disposal services, item 9 for freeway off-ramp closure services, item number 11 for maintenance of the Venice Canals and Bologna Creek. All these contracts, these 9 contracts, RFPs are being drafted to replace them. In addition to item number 11, we are also drafting an amendment to extend the contract on a month-to-month basis for up to 1 year to allow us sufficient time to complete the RFP and get a new contract in place. Item number 8 is for bus benches. We are waiting for mayoral ED3 approval for the amendment to include shade structures to the bus benches. Item number 10 is for the transportation of heavy equipment. We are currently drafting an amendment to extend this contract by 2 years. Item number 13 is for the Sidewalk and Transit Amenities Program. Streets LA authorized the board and the personnel department to piggyback on this contract. Items number 16 through 20 are the on-call sidewalk and park vending outreach and education contracts with 5 consultants. The current year's budget for these services has been reduced from $50,000 to $40,000. Streets LA issued a TOS number 350 on June 18th to solicit for community outreach services and for the development of promotional materials. We are currently reviewing the proposals that were received by the July 17th deadline. Item number 25 is a new contract for hazardous waste disposal. Mayoral ED3 approval was received on April 10th. Council approval was received on May 24th. The contract was executed on June 7th with an effective start date of November 1st, 2023. As of today, we have 1 contract pending, which is for Cool Pavement. We received the board's authorization to release the RFP on March 20th, and that RFP was released on March 28th. We received 4 proposals by the May 9th deadline. We are currently drafting a report to request authorization to award contracts to the 2 highest scoring proposers. The next section on the report is our list of task order solicitations, of which we currently have a total of 11. Again, thank you to the Bureau of Engineering and Department of Transportation for allowing us to use their on-call contracts to issue those TOSs. Beginning with items number 1 and 7, these 2 TOSs, ED 21-009 and TOS number 78, have been completed and closeout letters are being drafted. Item number 2 is TOS 701 for design and engineering support services for the Broadway Manchester project. On May 31st, the board approved a budget increase of $7,296,529 for additional design services. Notices to proceed issued through June 3rd total $7,191,284. Item number 3 is for TOS 53. It had a total of $999,903 in notices to proceed issued through April 12th. Item number 4, TOS 702A, had a total of $3,036,660 of notices to proceed issued through May 14th. Item number 5 for TOS 702B had a total of $3,378,499 in notices to proceed issued through June 14th. And finally, item number 8 for TOS 704 had a total of $2,253,043 in notices to proceed issued through May 10th. That concludes my report.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And commissioners, do we have any questions on this item? I don't see any. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time and have a good weekend.
You too. All right. Next bureau, we have Bureau of Contract Administration, and we have Ms. Crystal Crockett.
Hello. Thank you. I believe we're in the just getting into the afternoon now. So good afternoon, commissioners and executive staff. My name is Crystal Crockett, and I'm with the Office of Wage Standards in the Bureau of Contract Administration. During this reporting period, which covers April, May, and June of this year, Task Order OWS 24-001 was awarded 2 of the 7 consultants on the Office of Wage Standards pre-qualified on-call list for various wage standards enforcement and city labor standards projects. This TOS OWS 24-001 provides targeted direct outreach to employers in the city regarding the city's minimum wage, paid sick leave, and fair chance initiative for hiring topics. In April, the Center for Living and Learning was issued a notice to proceed valued at $48,378, and Modern Times, Inc. was issued a notice to proceed valued at $21,000. To date, a total of $14,040.94 has been invoiced against this TOS. Also, Task Order OWS 24-002 was awarded to 2 consultants from the same pre-qualified on-call list. The task of OWS 24-002 is to perform market research and provide a database identifying the retailers that are subject to the city's Fair Workweek ordinance, with an option to design and transmit outreach assets that provide information about the Fair Workweek ordinance to employers in multiple languages. Companies MCG and Associates was issued a notice to proceed valued at $32,420, and Modern Times, Inc. was issued a notice to proceed valued at $39,550. Lastly, TOS OCC 23-001 was issued in October of last year to raise awareness of the living wage and worker retention ordinance amongst the employees of the Los Angeles International Airport through one-on-one interviews and distribution of printed materials. The awarded contractor, Modern Times, Inc., is still in the process of obtaining badge access. The duration of this TOS OCC 23-001 will be extended by 6 months to the end of the year so that Modern Times, Inc. may actually perform the work. No contracts will expire next quarter. BCA did not issue nor award tasks over $150,000, nor are there any amendments executed or pending. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Vice President
Good afternoon.
Villegas, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, those that are present and on the call. I am Evelinda Pena with the Bureau of Street Lighting. I am here to provide a report for our personal service contract C138383 with NBS Government Finance, Inc., which was executed on May 12, 2021. On February 23rd, 2024, this contract was allowed to be extended on a monthly basis for a maximum of 6 months. On July 23rd, 2024, this contract was extended for its final end date of September 6, 2024. And this concludes my report. Does anybody
That
have
was
any
fast.
questions?
Yeah. I don't think we have any questions. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You all have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful weekend.
All right. And then last, we have Mr. David Santos for Bureau of Sanitation.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is LA Sanitation Environment's Personal Services Contracts Quarterly Report Summary for the fourth quarter ending June 30, 2024. The total amount billed on Los Angeles contracts since last quarter is $43.6 million. Total for contracts with subcontractor participation is as follows. For the old MBE-WBE outreach program, its contracts total is $2.7 million. For the business inclusion program, the contracts total is $40.9 million. The subcontractor participation is as follows. For the MBE-WE outreach program, WBE is 22.1%, OBE is 2.2% with a total participation of 24.3%. For the business inclusion program contracts, MBE participation is 6.3%, WBE is 2.6%, SBE is 6.5%, EBE 4.8%, DVBE 0.1%, and OBE 5.0%, totaling 26.2% participation. For Los Angeles expiring contracts, the pre-qualified on-call consultant list of 24 consultants expired July 22, 2024, and were not renewed. Los Angeles issued a new RFQ for these services, and the new contracts were executed on July 1, 2024. For the Los Angeles Task Order Solicitation Update, Policy 793. Under the list of 24 consultant contracts, the total contract amount is $305 million. Payments to date totaled $217 million, which is 71.3% spent. The pledge participation levels are MBE 20.8%, WBE 6.4%, SBE 19.0%, EBE 11.4%, DVBE 0.9%, and OBE 19.7%. For TOSs issued less than $150,000, the total contracts are $6.6 million. Payments to date are $4.9 million, which is 75.4% spent. For the TOSs issued greater than $150,000, the total contracts are $298 million. Payments to date are $213,000 rounded, which is 71.2% spent. The next on-call list for Los Angeles is for the Information Control Systems Division, or ICSD. Since execution in April 2016, Los Angeles' 9 pre-qualified on-call contracts for automation and technology projects have had the following activity. Total task orders issued, 22. Total task orders awarded, 12. Total contract amount awarded, $24.8 million. Total task order expenditures, $19.2 million. For the subconsultant participation, the pledge percentage are MBE 30%, WBE 9.7%, SBE 7%, EBE 0.5%, DVBE 0%, and OBE 2.4%. And the achieved to date are MBE 24%, WBE 13%, SBE 4%, EBE 0.1%, DVBE 0%, and OBE 2.3%. And the third pre-qualified on-call list for Lasan is brownfields, the environmental site assessment and technical support to citywide brownfields program. These expire November 25, 2024. A new RFQ was released for these services and statement of qualifications are currently being evaluated. Total contract amount is $8.2 million. Payments to date are $1.4 million. The pledged percentages are MBE 0.7%, WBE 3%, SBE 62%, EBE 58%, DVBE 0%, OBE 6.6%, and the achieved percentages are MBE 2.6%, WBE 5%, SBE 29%, EBE 2%, DVBE 0%, and OBE 12%. The quarterly report before you also addresses any subcontractor deviation concerns. There are 30 contracts with deviation concerns, with the majority of the deviations being task orders, awarded under the pre-qualified list of 24 consultant contracts. The primary reason for these deviations, as provided to our contracts group by the project managers, was that after award, some scope changes may have occurred, and we've noted that on the report before you. This concludes Lasan's update for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2024. I'll be happy to address any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the report. We see it on our in our board report. So appreciate that. Commissioners, do we have any questions? Okay, I think we're good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good afternoon.
Have a good weekend. All right, and before we clear today's desk, I do think that we have a adjournment this morning, and I'll just make one announcement. We will not have a management meeting after today's meeting, and we will adjourn by motion by Commissioner Reyes. So I'll turn the floor over to you.
It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of one of our employees, Theodore Higgins, on July 22nd, 2024. I just want to read a brief bio of Theodore before I read the board resolution. Theodore joined the City of Los Angeles in October 2001 as an environmental compliance inspector in the Industrial Waste Management Division. In 2013, he promoted to senior ECI, and in August 27, he promoted to chief ECI. And during his time with the Industrial Waste Management Division, Theodore oversaw the operations of significant industrial users, local industrial users, and the fats, oil, and grease programs. In 2018, he was honored as one of the emerging leaders by the California Water Environment Association. In 2019, he served as the Secretary of the Pre-Treatment, Pollution Prevention, and Stormwater Committee of the CWEA. In 2020, Theodore received the Los Angeles Association of Black Personnel Trailblazer Award. Theodore made valuable contributions to the LA sanitation and environment. He always had a smile and was a joy to work with, and he will be sorely missed. Please keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. And now I would like to read the board resolution prior to our adjournment in his memory. Whereas the Board of Public Works of the City of Los Angeles, California, has learned with sorrow of the death of Theodore Higgins. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of this board hereby express their deep sense of loss in the passing of Theodore Higgins and their appreciation of his valued services to the people of this city and county, and extend to his family the sympathy so deeply felt on this occasion. And be it further resolved that this resolution be spread on the minutes of the Board of Public Works, and that as a further mark of respect, that this board do now adjourn. Let's observe a moment of silence to honor the memory of Theodore Higgins. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was last week.